Hey everybody, it's been a while, but welcome to Legends of 40K. I haven't forgotten about this. Um, what we're going to talk about here today is Ahriman, the Thousand Sons, the Exiled the Thousand Sons, whatever you want to call him, from the Chaos Space Marine book. I utilized him in a tournament recently. Well, my own model because it was pre-heresy, but utilized his rules. So I thought I'd do a Legends of 40K about him. Basically, let's get right to the facts. He's 250 points, weapon skill and ballistic skill of 5, strength and toughness of 4, 3 wounds, initiative 5, 3 attacks, leadership 10, 3 plus save. He's infantry. He has power armor, bolt pistol with inferno bolts, frag and crack grenades, personal icon, black staff of Ahriman, mark of Tzeentch. He's fearless. He's an independent character, 4 plus invulnerability save, which already includes the mark of Tzeentch bonus. And he's got Doom Bolts, Warp Time, Winds of Chaos, Gifts of Chaos, Bolt of Change. So let's look at his specific rules. He has Master of Sorcery, which gives him access to the psychic powers I listed. He's got the Black Staff of Ahriman, which counts as a counts as a force weapon, sorry. Because it reads here, it's a potent focus of psychic energy. But it counts as a force weapon, and in addition, it allows Ahriman to make up to 3 psychic tests in the same turn. One of which may be his ability to use a force weapon if you want to. It even allows him to use several powers that count as firing a shooting weapon in the same shooting phase, but he must target the same unit with all of them. And with the FAQ, he can't do the same psychic shooting attack. So if he does Doom Bolt, he can't do it again. He has to do the different shooting attacks. And Inferno Bolts gives his bolt pistol AP3 instead of AP5. So before I go into how I utilize Ahriman, or how I would utilize him, I'm going to talk about his model and then what I think about his entry. Now, I like his model. I do wish he looked a little bit more unique. I mean, he's got his backpack and his staff and his helmet going for him, but his helmet isn't that unique because a lot of the sorcerers, Chaos Sorcerer helmets, have that kind of like headdress thing going on, although his is a unique type of helmet. I like his backpack is cool. I like the whole 4 exhaust vent things, and his staff is cool. Even though they have it painted white, even though it's called the Black Staff of Ahriman. I guess that's chaos for you. But overall, I do like the model. I just do wish if they were to redo him, make him look a little bit more unique in terms of being some Master Sorcerer. I mean, he's got the robe, the half robe, and other robe thing going for him. I do like the look. The one thing I don't like about it, if you see here with the mouse, this little like crest, half moon type of back collar thing, it makes him look like he's hunched over a little bit. I mean, I understand what they're going for, but the one thing I don't like about the model, but I still think he looks cool. I do like the model overall. It's like a static dynamic thing. He's got like movement conveyed by the skulls here and the robes and the book. It conveys some sort of movement. Maybe he's building up psychic energy. And he's got his staff planted firmly down, so it's kind of static there. It's like a static dynamic look. I like it. So overall, I like the model. As far as his entry goes, he's got a solid entry. He's got a great stat line. So he can dish it out in close combat if necessary. And he's got great psychic ability with 3 powers and 3 shooting powers in the same turn. So no real complaints there. One thing I would like to see added is let him have Lash of Submission and Nurgle's Rot. I mean, if he's a Master of Sorcery, and it's kind of implied that he can do all these great rituals, all these convoluted things, you know, letting him have access to those psychic powers to do, maybe call something different and say in the rules count as Lash of Submission, count as Nurgle's Rot. Would be kind of cool, because it would give him access to every psychic power in the book, and that would be kind of nice. Or failing that, give him his own psychic ability that only he has. That would be kind of cool too. Another thing I'd like to see is he's a Master Sorcerer. It would be kind of cool if he had the ability of a Psychic Hood. Chaos Sorcerers don't have that, but for being basically the best sorcerer in all the Chaos Space Marine is pretty much what he's billed as. It would be kind of cool if he could not kind of, it would be cool if he could shut down enemy psychers with having a Psychic Hood. That'd be pretty sweet. It would also be nice if you had an easier time casting. I mean, they took away the Thousand Sun's ability to automatically pass their psychic test, and they gave it to Typhus of Nurgle. So if he can do it, I mean, there's no reason Ahriman can't. I guess they're worried about making him unfair, but really I think it fits him perfectly. He's a master of sorcery. Maybe, like, if he had the psychic powers he has now, let him do those automatically. And of course, Psychic Hoods can test to try and defeat it and whatnot, but just let him automatically pass the psychic test for those, and maybe give him one or two psychic abilities that are his own unique thing that he has to make a psychic test for. That'd be nice. And still make a psychic test for his force weapon. So that's what I would like to see, but that's asking a lot. And as he is now, he's great. I can't really complain about his stat line or his war gear and his entry overall, because I've utilized it and it's worked very well. So that being said, how do I utilize, or how would I utilize Ahriman? Well, first things first, you gotta understand that you have to do psychic tests with Ahriman. If you're afraid of psychic tests, don't even bother with him. His strength comes from his 3 psychic powers he can do a turn. Now, it is a little bit dangerous because every time you do a psychic ability, you're increasing your chances of Perils of the Warp. But in 3 games with him, I haven't perilled with any of my psychics, and I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different psychers doing psychic tests basically every turn they could. So don't be afraid of that. Definitely utilize the psychic abilities. If you're gonna be doing direct combat type of things, Bolt of Change, Doom Bolt, or Winds of Chaos, I would warp time in the beginning, so you only can do 2 shooting attacks, but at least you get to pretty much make sure they go off. Well, once they go off, you pretty much make sure they hit and wound. Gifts of Chaos is not a psychic shooting attack. It happens at the beginning of the turn. That's when it turns something into a Chaos spawn. So you can do that 3 times with the one squad. So if you're doing that, you don't need the warp time. You can just do that. Which I don't have any Chaos spawns, so I don't use that ability. Which is not really. I mean, I guess I could still, but I want to make some Chaos spawns so I can utilize that ability to its fullest extent. I like using even more direct matter, because I usually attach it to a squad that's going to be advancing on the enemy. I attach it to a Thousand Sun squad, and I put him in a Rhino, because he can still cast out of a Rhino. So, I like doing that. Also, his ability of having a force weapon should not be forgotten about. Force weapons are great. They've helped out a lot. And I personally am not concerned. If I'm going to charge with him that turn, I'm not worried about using my force weapon that turn, unless I'm charging something particularly big and nasty. Then I'll worry about using my force weapon. Usually I'll do all my 3 psychic abilities before he soft haze and just charge it in and use his force weapon, which counts as a power weapon, to just cut through things. So that being said, he is not a slouch in close combat. He does pretty well in close combat, but his strength comes in his psychic abilities, and a lot of that comes in the psychic shooting. So I would definitely utilize that as much as possible, and only really assault to clean up something. He has a personal icon, just like pretty much every special character does, and that's good to remember. With my Terminators, they can deep strike right by him to support him if necessary once they come in, without scattering, and that's great. So if you have that or other things that can utilize icons, definitely take advantage of that. And that's pretty much the basics that I do with him. I like keeping him in the Thousand Sun squad because of the fluff, and I play Preharity 1000 Sun. A bonus is, since he is a Psyker and a Sorcerer, if the Aspiring Sorcerer dies, he can just leave the squad, so they move 2d6 instead of, well, they make it difficult to range check on 2d6 instead of 1d6 for the slow and purposeful. So, that is nice. Other than that, not too much to say about how to utilize him. It's pretty straightforward. Um, just definitely make use of his shooting attacks. What I like to do is, if I'm at decent range, I'll use Bolt to Change, especially against light vehicles, or any vehicle really, because I have the chance to destroy it with his AP1 Strength 8 hit. But once I start closing, I'll utilize Doom Bolt and Bolt to Change until I get really close, where I can Winds of Chaos and then Doom Bolt together with Warp Time. It really can obliterate a squad. And that's what I'm going for, so it's very nice. Now, Winds of Chaos can help him a little bit against vehicles, although really I would say Bolt to Change is a little bit of a better bet for really trying to destroy it. But he has the ability to deal with vehicles, which is not something every special character has, so that's cool. Other than that, that's pretty much all I have to say about Ahriman. He's a solid psychic special character. Pretty much, I would say, Space Marine wise, you know, Chaos and Space Marine, all the different Space Marine codices, he's the first. I think he is the first to come out with giving them the ability to do 3 and having access to pretty much all of their abilities, all the psychic abilities for the most part. So, I think he was the first to come out, and I say he's very beefy, and not to be underestimated if you're playing against him. I've never had to deal with a Psychic Hood or anything like that from what I've been playing, but the majority of Psychic Hoods out there now have a range limitation, so just keep that in mind. And don't forget, he has his bolt pistol. He can shoot with that, and it is AP3, so a little bit better than your average bolt pistol. But when you have all his psychic abilities, unless you want to save up a force weapon shot, or unless you're gonna, you know, Gifts of Chaos everything, you can Gifts of Chaos and then you can shoot with his bolt pistol in the shooting phase, because Gifts of Chaos happens in the beginning. But that's all up to you. Other than that, I say it's pretty solid. He's basically like a psychic captain, if you want to think about it in terms of that way. The old captain stats was weapon skill plus skill 5, and the rest of his stats, what I told you, was exactly the same stats as a captain. And it is the same stats as the Black Templars, Marshals, and Dark Angel Company Masters. So he is pretty strong in terms of getting in there and mixing it up with other people. So points heavy, yes, but you get what you pay for, which is tons of psychic ability. And especially if you're going for that theme of Thousand Suns and psychic ability, he's a natural pick. Plus, you don't have to worry about choosing which psychic power you want. He pretty much has everything that a Thousand Suns or a Tzeentch sorcerer could take. And he has all of it, instead of having, what is it, 3 total if you have a familiar. Anyway, so he has all of it. And real quickly, when you look at it, he's 250 points, like I said, but you have to buy the Mark of Tzeentch. You're gonna have to buy the psychic powers, and if you get the familiar for another psychic power, so he's not ridiculously more expensive than a Chaos Sorcerer, because you gotta remember the Chaos Sorcerer entry in the book is bare bones, without anything you're taking. So if you, for the psychic powers, the point cost for the Chaos Sorcerer does not include psychic powers or marks. So I just want to put that out there. Anyway, I've rambled on long enough. That was Legends of War, or Legends of 40k, I should say, not Legends of War. Legends of 40k, Ahriman of the Thousand Suns. Lots of fun to use if you're into that type of special character. And until next time, take it easy.